Hey everyone, it's Ashley and I'm bringing you a video today that's pretty exciting because it's all about my journey in candle making and launching my business. And I've been taking you guys along with me every step of the way and adding in a bit of sprinkling, if you will, of marketing and business tips just from my experience of being a serial entrepreneur over the last 7 years. My background is in marketing, so I like to share as much as I can to try and help the entrepreneurs like myself in an area that I feel confident in talking about, while also letting you guys know the highs and lows of launching my candle brand back in 2020. Today's video is all about I'm moving from working from home with my candle business into a designated workshop space, and I'm so excited about it. Also, on the other side of it, very terrified because this is a big move. I'm in literally my safety net, and I'm moving to a space. So I wanted to share a few things with you guys today about 3 specific things that how I knew I was ready to take this leap, and also share with you not only the pros but the cons of it too, and something that you guys can consider if you're kind of toying with the idea of taking that huge leap from working from home to moving everything to a dedicated space with bills and rent that are more than just what you pay at home. So the first thing that I really felt like I needed to consider with regards to when I kind of knew it was time to go, which is simply with regards to boundaries. I think that looking at the clutter and looking at, because there's really no way, you could be the most organized person in the world, and I feel like I'm a pretty organized person, and it still was just absolute chaos. And I was running out of space. I started pouring in my kitchen. I had my entire dining room dedicated to storage of the candles, and had my entire garage with the storage of wax and bulk vessel purchases, and then I had a storage unit, so I was kind of sprawled out. And definitely around the holidays, which I knew I needed to add inventory and do all these things, I literally had just a game of Tetris happening every single day. And it was really hard for me as a visual learner to be able to keep track of what I needed, what I was running out of, what I was getting low on so that I could prevent running out of it. And it just spatially was not working anymore. But more so with regards to boundaries, I just never was able to turn something off. So I was always looking at a mess. I was always looking at something that I needed to do. So even in the off days when it would be time for me to rest and relax, really enjoy my Sundays, the Lord's Day, and just take a break, I still wouldn't be able to. Now, burnout is very real, and so there's some days that I was just completely burnt out, and I was I'm definitely not touching this with a 10-foot pole, but it was still in the back of my mind, and so I wouldn't be able to completely detox from what I needed to do because I'm just staring at it all the time. So I think that was my number one thing, especially after the holidays. I'm so grateful for the success that I had in Q4 of 2021, and I hope to not only duplicate that, but add to it. But it just was, I almost it was just crazy. So that was definitely one thing that I was I do not want to relive this again. As much as I love having everything at my fingertips and being able to set out orders for local pickups and, put something together really quick on the spur of the moment, it just wasn't flying anymore. So that was my main reason of okay, I really need to start considering this and hunkering down and finding a space. The second thing that I really needed kind of ties into that was definitely the space issue. But, my mom has been coming to help me with this. I officially hired someone on a part-time basis 1 day a week to come and help me with the things that were just taking a lot of time, like labeling and inventory and counting and updating and packing for markets and all of that. And so I have a wonderful human that comes and helps me, and so she literally was in my home, which was fine. She's a friend and it's great, but it just was a thing where not only was I not able to be effective, but then she at times was not able to be effective. And so I'm actually looking at potentially maybe adding someone else to my roster of help. And it's just not reasonable to have people just crammed in my dining room making all of this try and work and work in a way in which that a year from now I'd be thanking myself. And I'm just finding those limitations not only with actual physical space, but with regards to growth and next steps and planning in the future. And I just felt that was just a huge hindering moment where I was okay, I really need to consider this. And if I'm investing in my business and I'm investing in my growth, why am I hindering myself in regards to like being scared of like rent or whatever would be? Because, you know, I got a cushy little lifestyle here in my home. And so I need to just branch out and see what possibilities I can have moving forward. And the third thing that I really had to consider with this was obviously like cost. So yes, there are obvious like costs in regards to like having a storage unit and having to like pay for things within my home to make sure that my business is running smoothly, aka like temperatures, because it has to be a certain temperature in this house to even make candles, which is something that's crazy. But you know, I was looking at different things and I was like, okay, with regards to growth, I want to be able to offer different things for people to actually like maybe have like a sniff and shop where people can come to a space. And disclaimer, I do not have a retail space. I will have a little setup of retail, but I really just needed a workshop space, a space where I can clearly set up like, this is inventory that I have on the shelf through my Shopify. This is inventory that I have on my shelf for my wholesale accounts, which was a big thing that was being hindering for me. And I was having to pour more often, but smaller amounts. And so now I want to be able to pour less often, bigger amounts, and then actually like have wholesale inventory ready to go so that my clients don't have to wait like 2 weeks, which is what I was giving them a turnaround time of now. I want to have like my best selling wholesale scents available, ready to pull off the shelf and ship to them. And yeah, so I want to offer events. I want to have wholesale inventory. I want to have like an actual dedicated curing space, because I don't know if you guys ran into this, but I was like, okay, this is inventory that I can actually sell. This is inventory that like is non-existent, but I need to account for because it's not cured yet, but I don't want to overpour those, but they're not an inventory of Shopify. And I was just like spatially going crazy. So I wanted to be able to, with regards to cost, be able to have everything dedicated to its own little separate corners and parts of the process. But then I also wanted to be able to offer workshops. Like I want to do a candle pouring workshop. I'm really active in my community here in Albuquerque with regards to yoga. I love the power of like connecting with people and like seeing people face to face, and the markets have been really great for that. But I want people to like actually be able to come into my workshop space and experience like pouring a candle and have those bougie charcuterie boards. That's a really hard word to say. You know, cocktails or whatever they want, and like make it an experience where people can come and like meet somebody new and have a good time. I think that would be really fun. So that's something that I'm really wanting to offer, and again, add to my bottom line in different ways that I can like generate revenue, because I'm not going to be having like a 9 to 5 retail space. The other thing that I felt like with regards to cost, and while like rent is scary, I was thinking, okay, it would be really nice to consolidate my storage unit, which I was paying about $150 a month, which obviously is not anywhere near the rent that I'm paying now. But I'm able to like consolidate that expense, have everything in one space, and then just like see how everything functions. And this is a key point that I wanted to share with you guys, because I got really lucky in regards to my setup. I'm interested to see how it's going to go, but I do technically have a roommate. So I am subleasing about 1,000 square feet from another local maker here in town. Altogether, we have a 3,000 square foot space, and it just seemed really like simpatico. Like he does his own thing. He's been in business for about 6 years, makes jewelry and some like houseware stuff through wood making. And it just was like really synergistic in the sense of like our businesses made sense to work together outside of the sawdust, which we're keeping in a completely separate space. He was looking for a space, so he was like, I'll do the lease, and then if you want to sublease from me, because I didn't really know how much space I was actually going to need. Like all in total, I think I'm working from like 500 square feet of space. And so for me to go in and double it is absolutely like crazy. But also having everything in one space minus the storage unit, it's also like, am I going to need more space? Am I going to need less space? And this is like a really nice, easy stepping stone for me to figure out like, what is it I'm actually going to need? I have the option to renew with him after a year. So maybe I just stay put. And I also have the option to, you know, move out and find a different space, hopefully in the area in which I'm already signed up with and already moved into, because it's close to my house. And it's a really nice, just like well kept so far, knock on wood. The landlords have been really great, and just trying to figure out like how all of it's going to work and what I'm actually going to need, because otherwise it's just like a blind leap of faith. I think if I were, you know, maybe now that I'm in this workshop space, I'm going to be doing some events and things like that. Maybe I do want to go into more of a retail shop and like actually truly have a candle shop that's open like set hours, set days. I employ someone to be there. In my mind right now, it just sounds like an absolute, like, ugh, the worst thing ever. I have no interest in like running a retail shop, but maybe after a year of being in a space, then I'll find like it actually is conducive to have that and maybe grow out my product lines a bit more, which I always had the intention of doing when I launched Upside Goods, but I just haven't had any time. So I'm gonna really figure this out. So I hope that this helped you guys. These are just some talking points that I was like mulling over in my brain that were keeping me up at like 3 a.m. most nights and thinking about like, oh, this is terrifying and debilitating for me to like move into this next step, but it's also really exciting and really fun. And those were basically the 3 points that I kept coming back to. So like, I need more space, I need more boundaries, and the cost effectiveness in regards to like what this will allow me to offer to hopefully offset like what my bills are going to be in cost of goods and things like that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you're interested, I am going to be keeping track of all of the items that I'm using to fill my workshop space as it comes alive. I've been slowly chipping away at it over the last couple of weeks, and I found some like workshop tables and some storage and things like that that I'm happy to share with you guys, just to let you know about like the space and how I'm hoping that it will function, especially when I start to invite people in. And so if you guys are interested in a video like that, please let me know and I will put that all together and share it with you here. Thank you for watching, guys. If you're interested in signing up for the Candle Collective, you don't have to be a candle maker. It's $30 for 30 minutes. We meet over Zoom. I invoice you after, and it's really easy. You just come at me with all of the questions or things that are keeping you up late at night, keeping you stressed. And my goal is to help you reduce some overwhelm and to make things as easy as you can by just being a sounding board for you. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, I would love it if you did that, and I'll see you soon. Bye.